Welcome to Must Have Missed It, the podcast where we talk about previous podcasts that are about how James hasn't seen any movies.
What?
What's that famous movie you're always quoting? The one you and your friends can't stop referencing. Yeah, there's a really good chance James still hasn't seen it.
So?
But that's why we're here. I have now forced James to watch 10 movies he probably should have seen already.
10!
I am Josh, and what is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life for a sunrise that I know I'll never see. And the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything. And this is my co-host.
I'm James, and butt plug fight.
I don't even know how to transition that into the social plugs. Oh, social plugs. There we go.
Butt plugs? Social plugs.
Social plugs, butt plugs. What's really the difference? When you interact with social the way we do, it's all the same, really. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. Occasionally, we'll post stuff on TikTok. That's a lie. We never post anything on TikTok. We did. There was a time. There might be a time again.
The before 4 times.
Stay tuned. Also, send your emails to musthavemissedit@gmail.com. We like emails. They're fun to read, I think. We haven't gotten any. And follow us on Instagram at Must Have Missed It, and follow us on Twitter at Must Have Missed It. And do not forget to join the Discord. It's pretty lonely in there right now.
Yeah, we're gonna make an effort.
Concerted effort.
Yeah.
Social media. Yeah. We're gonna engage. We swear.
But we need that effort from y'all too.
Yeah, you do your part. We'll do ours.
Promise.
So James, what the fuck are we doing here? Didn't we already cover the movies? Season 1's over. Why are we here?
I mean, because we have a problem and we're addicted. And,
we are.
Guys, podcasting, it's a serious problem.
Yeah, it is for us. It is for you too, apparently, because if you're watching this, I pity the fool.
No, man, we're here because we just want to recap season 1, man. I don't know if I ever thought that we would be at this point. Definitely a couple years ago when it was just a thought. I don't think we'd be sitting here. So kind of a celebration,
right? Beat me to it. Hovering over the button and you still beat me to
it. Yeah, celebrate, man. Season 1. Also, we just want to go through and rank the movies, talk a little bit about each one and kind of give it a place in our hearts. And we're going to hand out some awards.
Yeah. Sounds like a podcast.
Let's do it.
Kind of what we do all the time. Just like the 12th time we've done this, I think now.
Yeah.
11th time with awards, but 12th podcast, I believe, if my math is correct.
We did Azkaban twice, but
yeah,
first one.
That is true. That's a rough cut. No one will ever hear that one again. I still have that, though. I was surprised. I looked on my phone the other day. I was like, oh, shit, I do still have this. I am so glad it's still on the drive.
That's going to be fantastic to listen to in a couple of years.
Yeah, that would be like a season 3 Patreon exclusive. Where's your money? Give us your money. Patreon.
All of it.
We don't have a Patreon.
We want to quit our jobs.
Yeah, because this is way more fun than actual work.
Yeah.
That's a lie. This is a lot of work, and I think that's kind of the thing we really took for granted when we started this podcast is the amount of prep that goes into recording an episode, the amount of time that goes into editing episodes. We just went almost a month between editing or recording and finally releasing an episode because we're just overwhelmed by work and just life in general. And so it's a lot harder than we thought it was. We kind of have hopefully a plan for season 2 that keeps us on schedule. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, I mean, you did, I think, the first 3 or 4 episodes entirely by yourself. I think Avatar was the first one that I worked on the video.
Yeah.
And I think it took me 12 to 16 hours.
Yeah.
And that's after you putting in, the skeleton or the base. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, we definitely took for granted what it takes to produce a podcast episode. So props to everybody that's been doing this for a while. Hope you guys have a better system than we do at the moment. We're working it out. We'll figure it out.
And if you do, hit us up at musthavemissedit@gmail.com. Let us know what you're doing.
Give us that advice. Thank you, please. So, James, let's go ahead and rank the movies from season 1.
Oh, boy.
We're going to go in ascending order. So we're going to start at number 10, which is our least favorite movie. I don't think this one's going to come as a shock to anyone who's followed this podcast. James, what's your number 10?
I feel pretty comfortable saying our number 10 is Avatar.
Space Dances with Wolves. This movie's just, look, as a technical achievement, I will give it its due. The people that saw it in the movie theater in 3D and loved it, I have no argument against you liking it, enjoying the experience. I just think as a movie, it is the worst movie that we watched in season 1. It's just,
easily for me. There's no way that this was gonna crawl out of 10.
Yeah, this is screenwriting 100. It didn't make it to a 101 class. This is just the most basic fucking movie, plot-wise, characterization-wise, that's ever been written. And I mean, I'm not saying James Cameron is known for like incredibly deep scripts. Yeah, that's not really his shit. But he's done. I mean, True Lies. That's just a way better movie than this movie. Terminator 2 is a way better movie. Aliens is a way better movie than this movie. So, I mean, cool, like special effects are great and, 3D's fantastic or whatever, but that's not how we watched it. So kind of sucked for the purposes of our podcast.
Also, just disclaimer, this is going to be a ranking of our favorites. We are not necessarily saying best worst. Yeah. However, with Avatar specifically, it is the worst and also my least favorite.
Yeah.
For me,
I don't know that I would say it's the worst movie. It's my least favorite of the 10 for sure. And a little more on what James is saying, these are opinions based off how we feel today in this moment when we wrote these lists that have already changed multiple times today. So, right. If you disagree with the list, let us know. Put it in the comments. Yeah. Send us an email. Tell us about it. Yeah. Put where do you rank the top 10? James, what do you have at number 9?
So for number 8 and 9, I was kind of back and forth, but I settled on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for number 9. As you've all heard, if you listen to the first podcast, I'm just not super into magic. It's not something that appeals to me. I can't find any kind of joy and watching things that have to do with magic. I don't know. It just doesn't do it. It feels corny sometimes to me. And while I really enjoyed everything else about the movie, there was just always this overwhelming feeling of like, it's just, I don't get why this is cool.
Yeah.
Again, don't knock anyone for liking what they like. I like things that people probably look at me and laugh at or they don't get it. But for me, just, I couldn't really justify putting it any higher.
So my list, I kind of looked at it as it's really more like tiers. There's the Avatar tier. And then there's the tier above that. It's about 3 movies that I put in that tier above that. And then there's about 4 movies that are in a tier above that are probably 2 movies each in a sub tier, I think, really. So we'll say 2 tiers above that. And then there's the top tier, which I think is there are 2 movies in the top tier of the movies that we watched. And again, this is just how we feel about these movies now in this moment. So for number 9, I have Die Hard. On a different day, it might be what my number 8 is. It might be what my number 7 is. But just where I am today, I think Die Hard's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not my shit. It's an action movie, and that's just not my jam. I enjoy it for the Alan Rickman performance is fantastic. The Bruce Willis performance is not. It's a fun movie. But of the movies that we've watched this season, it's not one of the ones I'd really seek out. I'm like, I want to kill 2 hours. I'm going to watch Die Hard. It's not a thing you're going to hear me say.
Yeah.
But again, nothing against Die Hard. It's a movie I enjoy, and definitely a movie I thought you needed to see. And I'm glad that we covered it. But it's just in my opinion, it's not one of my favorites that we did.
All right.
What's your number 8?
Well, my number 8 is Die Hard. So when you were giving your number 9, I'm sitting here going, Josh is a huge Harry Potter fan, and that's really the only difference in this not, just being my number 9, is that I'm not a Harry Potter fan. So kind of the same reasons, man. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Alan Rickman is a fucking boss.
Yeah.
Tons of great moments in the movie, whether it's Argyle or fucking what's his name, Bubby, what's his name? Shit.
Oh
man, not Cooper, but some fucking basic name like that.
Ellis.
There you go. It's got a lot of great stuff in there, and it's fun to watch, and it's one that I could maybe go back to every few years or so. But like you were saying, it's not something I'm going to go, oh, I got some time. Let's watch Die Hard.
Yeah.
Whereas there are several movies on this list that I would.
Right.
So I'm totally with you there.
Sorry. I did forget to mention, it's still my favorite Christmas movie. No shade at Die Hard. I just think Christmas movies in general are pretty bad.
I don't think I have a favorite Christmas movie really. So, I mean, Die Hard.
I'll just choose that one.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that my number 8 is probably your number 7. So I'm going to wait until we get to number 7, and I'll let you talk about it first, and then I'll talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and do my number 7, if that works for you.
Sure.
My number 7 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
It's my favorite of the Harry Potter movies. It's like a kind of a comfort food movie to me. So I would say maybe it is technically a tier above Die Hard and what I have at number 8. Just because I'm more likely to seek this out, I think, than I would either of those movies or any of the movies I have ranked below it. But it, again, these movies are not movies that I love. It's just, I want something familiar and, simple.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I enjoy the plot of this movie. The adaptation, I mean, the direction is fantastic, and the changes that they made to the style of the movie were just really elevated the material to where I thought it should have been in the first 2 movies. So I'll put that at number 7. James, what's your number 7?
Number 7. The Incredibles. It's just where it fell into place in my list.
Yeah.
Everything above this movie could not be any lower. None of these movies could be any lower.
Yeah,
after The Incredibles. Enjoyed the movie. Just kind of made this decision based on kind of what you were saying. If I'm gonna just pop in a movie, The Incredibles, Die Hard, Azkaban, Avatar, like it's gonna be The Incredibles out of those 4.
Right.
So it's just kind of where it fell into place, and everything after this are probably the hardest that I had to do, man.
Yeah.
Like it gets really difficult from here on out. But The Incredibles is a fun, easy watch. I imagine maybe in my future if things work out and I have kids, like it's going to be a movie I'm going to come back to anyway. So I look forward to experiencing that again, and all the Pixar movies and stuff that I've not seen. But what you're going back to 8 now?
Yeah, so at 8 I have The Incredibles. I think when we did the podcast, I talked about how this isn't one of my favorite Pixar movies. To compare this movie to Toy Story 3 or Toy Story 2 or Inside Out or Ratatouille, I mean, it's not fair to The Incredibles to me, which again is a very good movie. I'm all of the movies essentially, I think from The Incredibles on up are good movies. Like Die Hard it's enjoyable. Is it a good movie? I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's questionable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good movie. I think The Incredibles is a good movie. Brad Bird did a fantastic job directing it, and all the performances are very good, and the familial aspect works really well for me. And I like it more as a superhero movie than I do as a Pixar movie. Like it would rate higher in a list of superhero movies than it would in a list of Pixar movies, I think. But I think that kind of just speaks to like the fact that I don't really love superhero movies. I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. But what's the difference? Anyway, that's for another podcast.
It's almost procedural though.
We'll talk about that in season 2 when we get to I think we have it scheduled currently as quote Marvel movie. So literally we can just point at a board and pick one, and it's probably going to be about the same as the other ones on the list.
Yep.
Sorry, Marvel.
Also, you can just point at a board of Marvel movies, and there's a really good chance I've not seen it.
Like 5 out of 32 or whatever so far. So we're getting there. That's like 16% or so. What do you have at number 6?
So Josh and I referred to, when we were ranking this, we had a 3 to 6 conundrum.
The 3 to 6 conundrum. Where do these movies fall?
So
I think we have the same movies 3 to 6. We have the same movies, obviously 1 through 6, because we've already done all the same movies.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be some variation in the order.
Right. So okay.
Pull the trigger, James.
6 is 28 days later.
Okay.
I struggled with this because of, I'll get into that when I talk about my number 5. But for me, all the movies above this it's so hard for me to say it's a zombie movie. I want to just say it's my favorite fucking movie because it's a zombie movie, and that's my shit. But it's not better, and it's not more enjoyable for me as the top 5 movies on my list.
Yeah.
As hard as that is for me to say, and as sad as that is being a zombie lover, like we just watch so many banger fucking movies, man. Like it couldn't be any higher. What I will say about this movie is I'm so fucking glad I watched it.
Yeah.
Because it has some amazing acting. Gleason knocks it out of the park. Jim and Selena is a pairing that I think I'll always love. I'll always think about fondly. Like just the feeling that I had when we podcasted on this movie, and I felt so much regret that I hadn't seen this movie. So I'm glad I did. And I wish I could give it more love, but fuck, man, Josh is really good at picking out movies. So what's your number 6?
Well, so, and that's the other thing is like, these are almost all, I mean, I would say easily 7 or 8 of those movies on this list are movies that I love.
Yeah.
I love these movies.
Yeah.
But, when I have to rank them against each other, it's a tough exercise.
It is tough.
So for number 6, I went with Judas and the Black Messiah. I think it's I'm a little worried that how I rank this has to do with where I was at the time that I watched that movie, and kind of the headspace that movie kind of put me in and stuff like that. So
it's understandable.
Yeah, it's a tough watch, man. It's a fantastic movie on every level. Like on a technical level, it is just very well made. The cinematography is incredible. The editing is fantastic, and every performance in this movie is so fucking good. So I have nothing bad to say about this movie. It's just, again, it comes down to like how I feel about them today, and which of these movies am I most likely to rewatch. And there's no way I would pick this movie over the 5 movies I have ranked above it. It's just, again, I love this movie. I think the Lakeith Stanfield performance is one of the best performances of the century. I am very enamored with it. Great movie, but it's just where I am right now. It's not making my top 5.
Okay.
What's cracking your top 5, James?
Number 5, I have Knives Out. What a fun movie. This movie keeps you entertained from start to finish. Yeah. Like if you are caught looking at your phone or getting up to go in the other room or anything that's not your eyes peeled to the screen when you're watching this movie, like I don't get it.
Yeah.
It was hard putting it this low because of how much fun it is, but as we get into my top 3, I hope to justify my point and hopefully explain why my top 3 is the way it is. Knives Out, I would watch that. I have not watched it again because I don't fucking watch movies, but I could watch that movie once a week, and I would find a way to appreciate it every week. I feel like it's just so fun, so funny. Benoit Blanc that performance is crazy.
Yeah. The first time I watched this movie, I was like, this performance doesn't work for me at all. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, maybe there's something there. And then by the third time I watched the movie, I was like, okay, it's just so fucking good.
Yeah, it's out of this world. It's something.
Yeah, definitely nothing I've seen in a movie anytime this century. That's for sure.
And just the way that we talked about it on that podcast, the way that there's really no time wasted in that movie and everything means something and you can always go back and find something. Those are things in movies that I really value.
Yeah. Yeah. So at number 5, I have, again, the 3 to 6 conundrum. This is bad, really difficult for us to do
struggle.
This. Yeah, very, very hard to choose where these movies fell. So like it pains me to put this movie this low, but at number 5 I have E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Okay.
It's not a bit. I swear this is not a bit. When I talk about the Dee Wallace performance, I was talking to James about this earlier. And I'm going to give you the exact quote that I gave to James. She is doing Kramer versus Kramer while everybody else is doing Space Goonies. And it's just the most incredible thing to me that she is just pouring her soul into this underutilized character in this kids movie that the target audience is not paying attention to this performance at all. It does not matter to them. And it's just so fucking good. Also, the score, John Williams, just fucking incredible. I guess I should be justifying why I have this at number 5. But I guess I'll do that we go higher to the rankings.
Easier when you anyway.
Yeah. Like I have nothing bad to say about. I mean, this is a movie I absolutely love. If this is a ranking of what I think the best movies are, like this is definitely in my top 3. I think this is one of the best movies that we've watched. And just everything about this movie is magical, and it killed me to put it at number 5, but it's just how I felt today. James, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is E.T.
E.T., yeah.
Again, this is just kind of where it landed. I didn't really think about it as tiers, but I guess I really did when I made my list, because 1 through 3 was just kind of my
Yeah.
That's my top. E.T. was, I think that sometimes I have to separate the experience that we had going to see it from the movie, because the experience was 10 out of 10, man.
For sure.
Like going to the theater, fucking overpaying for everything, getting to just it felt like I was going to a theater as a kid.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s. And I just wouldn't trade it for anything. But as I'm making the list, it's definitely not a 1 through 3 type movie for me. It is absolutely one of the best ones we did this season. But it just kind of lands where it lands because it's not going in the top 3. Sorry, E.T.
Love you,
sorry,
E.T.
D. Wallace.
You ain't making it.
You don't win at life. I'm sorry.
It's not a bit.
This is reality, Greg. So 4 or 3?
My number 4.
Yeah,
4. So my number 4 is 28 Days Later, which is a movie that I love this movie.
Yeah.
I think so. Not a zombie movie. Well,
Oh shit!
We know that.
I said zombie.
I know. But I know, and they know, and we know it's not a zombie movie, and we know that. But
quiet! It's an infected.
That genre that we're not a zombie movie doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be zombie specifically.
Yeah.
The Last of Us is basically zombie fiction. They're not zombies. They're still alive.
Yeah.
The infected are still alive. They're not zombies.
It's a blanket term, guys.
We understand, but it's, for like, but anyway, I think there's a much better movie in that movie, that maybe got lost in the edit somewhere. I think the movie's a little longer than it should be, and the drastic change in, I don't want to say tone. It's not really a change in tone at all, but just kind of like the focus of what the movie was about halfway through.
Yeah,
is pretty jarring for a lot of people, and I get that, because you spend the first. It's a very intense. I don't want to say kind of like typical zombie movie, because at the time it was not. Like this movie was kind of revolutionary. Like the Dawn of the Dead remake hadn't happened yet. Shaun of the Dead hadn't happened yet. The revival of zombies, the Walking Dead TV show. This came before all that stuff. So the things that we kind of take for granted now are things that it was doing at the time that really, seem cliche to us at now watching it, but were not at the time. Kind of forgot where I was going with that, but
you were just kind of talking about how like it was kind of jarring that it was almost like 2 independent.
Yeah, so
movies.
the people that are going into the experience expecting it to be 2 hours of what the first half of the movie are not going to enjoy the second half of the movie. So you kind of have to go into it with an open mind. If you're looking for The Walking Dead, it's not that. But again, if you go into this with an open mind and you're a fan of this genre, I just don't see how you can't enjoy the movie. And I think even in The Walking Dead and The Last of Us especially, kind of the main takeaway is that when we're left with no order and we just have to choose whether or not to act on our basest impulses, how do we respond to that? Mm-hmm. And I think 28 Days Later, especially the second half of that movie, is just a masterclass in that idea. One of my favorite movies of all time, and very glad that James hadn't seen it so I could force him to watch it for this podcast. James, what's your number 3? I know what your number 3 is.
All right. So for my number 1 through 3, I really chose these because I think I learned something this season about what I like in a movie.
Yeah.
And what is going to cause me ultimately to want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And that is a movie that is just going to make me feel, whether it rips my heart out, whether it makes me remember how fucked up the world can be, I think the more real it gets, the message, the movie can be out there
for sure,
but the more real the message is, I think that's what gets me, man.
Resonates.
I think that's what resonates. And Judas and the Black Messiah is one of those movies.
Yeah.
Man, this movie, it rips me apart.
Yeah. Incredibly tragic.
Thinking about it right now makes me want to tear up.
Yeah.
And again, that is the emotional response that just makes me want to watch more movies that make me feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling to want that.
Right.
But yeah, Judas does it. We don't even have to talk about the specific scenes. I mean, if you've watched this movie, it's a lot.
Very powerful, for sure.
But aside from the movie in general, Lakeith Stanfield, as you mentioned, oh boy, what a challenging role to play. What was the actress's name? Gosh, I should have refreshed myself.
Fishback.
Yes, Dominique Fishback. I know you have a lot of love for her as Deborah. And
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons.
That's why I keep this guy around, man. He's got all those names right up there in the Googly
Dominic
bank.
Thorne. I mean, just all around, just amazing performances. Fuck you, Martin Sheen.
Yeah, fucking Hoover. But yeah, man, these top three are going to be the movies that just really brought out all the feels in me and just really made me think about the world we live in. And it's sad, but it's so good to watch.
It's great movie.
This one, not specifically. I don't want to be misconstrued there. This is not one that you watch and cheer on by any means. But
I mean, there's definitely moments where you will.
Oh yeah.
Hard not to, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm a revolutionary scene. Like, how do you not cheer for that?
Right.
It's amazing.
I'm not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism. We're going to fight capitalism with socialism. Like, I jumped out my fucking seat on that one. So you're on 3 now?
Number 3, yes. Right. I have Knives Out at number 3.
I thought that would be pretty high for you.
Yep. I love this movie. I don't want to say obsessed with it, but it's one of those movies where I watched it and then the next day I was ready to watch it again. And we do that for this podcast, but not always because you want to immediately watch it again, just because like time is kind of crucial sometimes. You're like, I got to get 2 watches in before we record tonight at 8 p.m. or we start the process of recording at 8 p.m. Definitely not 8 p.m. But this is just one of those movies. I mean, I could watch this movie literally anytime. If I from wherever it is in the movie, I could just watch until the end. And then, depending on how far into the movie it is, I might just be like, now I want to watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. Every character is so interesting and specific. I think that's one of the things I really like about this movie is how specific each character is, coming up with quirks for each one. The performances are just next level. I mean, I keep coming back to, Ana de Armas is just amazing in that movie. But the Michael Shannon performance is just so interesting to me. I just really, really love that performance. It's just so silly, but also so serious and at times menacing. So I just really like what he pulls off of that character. It's just very interesting.
And really believable. I think most people have someone like that in their family.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone except maybe Ransom is a little over the top.
Yeah.
In terms of personality, but maybe Joni. Probably
I don't know.
I've known some Jonies.
I've known some Jonies. Yeah. I don't know if I get what you mean by Ransom though. He's a little bit kind of in your face with it.
Yeah. almost movie villainous. Villainesque. But yeah, just absolutely love this movie. Can watch it literally anytime. That's why I put it number 3, because that's kind of the way I'm thinking about this list today in this moment. So Knives Out, number 3. What's your number 2, James?
I don't think there's a big surprise here because you know what my number 1 is. Yep. So number 2 is going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. If we didn't, check out the Google Eyes. If we didn't watch what my number 1 is this season, this would be number 1. Josh is going to have a lot more to say about this movie, and I'm going to let him do that. But fucking A, man. Like, did you see how many Oscars this fucking thing won? I didn't watch the Oscars, but he told me about it.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, validation, right?
Right. Like, yeah. I mean, we had a conversation earlier today. Well, so I'll go ahead and obviously my number 2, because there's only 2 movies left that we haven't talked about yet. And my number 1 is, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. My number 2 is, of course, Parasite.
Yeah.
Parasite was a movie I was very excited to show James. A movie that I'd been trying to get him to watch for a while. Again, you know, he had a list of movies that he and his wife would kind of like, you know, basically roll a die, and whatever it came up on, that's the movie they would watch, and it just never rolled the number for Parasite. But that's great, because then we got to have do a podcast on it.
Yeah.
And it was like a special thing for me, because I knew how much James would love this movie. This is, like he said, you know, he's looking for specific things in movies, and I've kind of, for the most part, I kind of know where his tastes lie in that regard at this point. So it was a movie that I just could not wait to show James. So glad that he enjoyed it at the level that he did. So I'm going to let him talk more about Parasite, and then I'll talk a little more about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Cool. Number 1, Parasite. Obviously, as you said, this is just right up my alley. This movie covers something that I'm super passionate about. I am someone that will always try to fight for the working class. Class discrimination is something that is very real. It's a terrible thing. And I've always just, I don't really know where it came from, man. But I've always just kind of believed, like, this is just all ours, man. Like, that there's enough wealth to go around, and there shouldn't ever be a situation in my mind that is okay for one person to be making 90% of profits in any kind of company. Right. Wealth distribution is something that I hope one day I can have the courage to really fight for.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart to know that the system that we live in is designed for the people who are struggling to continue to struggle just to get a piece of the pie that the guy at the top has.
Yeah.
And he'll never, ever, ever, ever have to worry about, like, looking for a crumb.
Right.
It breaks my heart, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've lived it. I've watched my parents live it. I see people live it every single day. There are people I see on a day-to-day basis that I wish I could help. I see at least 10 people a day that right outside my work that I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to get super soapboxy. I want to talk about the movie. But really, this is it for me, man. Like, I could watch movies about this all day long. And the fact that it's also a Bong Joon-ho movie, and I mean, you've made me a fan of that guy. I mean, I don't, there's not a movie this entire season that hit me like Parasite did.
Yeah.
You get, I mean, the reveal you get halfway through, that exposes an entire new level with Jinsei and
a literal new
his
level.
wife. Yeah. Just further. I mean, just blows your mind even more when you're watching this movie because you're already there for it. You're like, all right, see where this is gonna go, and then you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, we're going real in there.
Yeah. Like it's like we talked about when we did the original podcast. You know, it seems like it's okay. It's the Kims versus the Parks.
Right.
I know what this movie is.
Yeah.
And then Jinsei they find Jinsei in the basement. It becomes a completely different thing.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastically executed movie. Bong Joon-ho is just a brilliant filmmaker, conveys his ideas as well as any filmmaker working today. Never made a bad movie. Literally never made a bad movie. I could watch Parasite. Not every day. It's I don't think I watch it every day.
Right.
It's a movie I could watch once a week, once a month for sure.
Yeah.
It's great performances, great score. The production design on this movie is fucking incredible. Just amazing cinematography. Just incredibly well made movie. Deserved every Oscar that it won.
Yeah, and I think what you said about Bong Joon-ho. I just love the way you said it. The way he conveys his ideas, because as I'm watching his movies, and definitely how I felt watching Parasite, just kind of everything clicks.
Yeah.
There's times I watch movies and I just don't pick up on something.
Right.
Maybe even after 2 watches. Mm-hmm. But like, man, when I watch his movies, it's like I'm not Bong Joon-ho, man. I'm not I'm not that guy. But it's almost like, oh, I understand him.
Right.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
I understand what he was trying to do there.
It's effortless to understand what he's putting down.
Yeah.
So I think that just adds an element for me that's just easy to watch his shit.
Which is extra impressive considering the complexity of some of the ideas at play in his movies.
So here we are. Everything. Everywhere. All at the same damn time. All right, Josh. Tell us why you love this movie so much.
Rakakuni, motherfuckers. I mean, have you seen this movie?
Just Rakakuni.
I was talking to James about this movie earlier, and I told him that I kind of felt like when we recorded the podcast, I was really downplaying how much I enjoyed this movie. I was a little more critical than I really wanted to be about this movie. Don't get me wrong. The movie is incredibly exposition heavy. That is a fact. There are definitely it's obvious that there are things that were going to be bigger parts of the movie that aren't, and things that probably weren't going to be bigger parts of the movie that are. That stuff shows, but none of that matters to me because the way this movie makes me feel. Oh my God! I don't have words for it. It's just an incredible experience to watch this movie. And every time I watch this movie, it makes me feel just like it did the first time. And there is nothing on the planet that gives you that feeling. Nothing. We won't even get into the illicit substances I may have tried in the past. But the second time was never the same as the first, except this time.
Yeah.
So this is the greatest drug I've ever tried. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Thank you to Daniels for bringing this to us. A24 for taking a chance on this fucking weird ass movie.
Yeah.
Props to I can't remember my dude for best editing. The most deserving best editing Oscar ever awarded in the history of the Oscars. It had to be this. There was no other fucking choice.
Right.
Props to Stephanie Hsu. You got robbed. Jamie Curtis shouldn't have even been nominated for this Oscar. I'm just saying. Sorry. Her performance is mid. We all know it is. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's fine. I'm happy she got an Oscar, and I'm happy that it's associated with this movie. But Stephanie Hsu is the all-star of this fucking movie, acting-wise, and it's just a shame. Props to Ki Hoi Kwan for your amazing comeback. the Oscar win. The speech was fantastic. Jamie Lee's speech was good, though. I'll give her that. I enjoyed her speech. Michelle Yeoh, finally getting her due in Hollywood after entirely too long of being, put in kind of the same fucking roles, offered the same roles,
Victim
finally
of typecasting.
Yeah, finally somebody was like, what if we tried funny? Could she do funny? And she's just incredible in this movie. It's just such a great performance. Completely believable in the world weariness, and also the, I know that relationship that Joy and Evelyn have. Like, I'm not saying I necessarily have that with any of my parents, but I know that relationship. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I have friends and acquaintances who that is their relationship with one or both of their parents.
Yeah.
So it's just incredibly believable in a movie that features butt plug fights and a woman using her dog as a weapon, hot dog fingers. I mean, this is a raccoon on somebody's head teaching them to cook. I mean, it's just a fucking weird ass movie, but it's
bagel.
If you have not seen this movie, please do yourself a favor. Take a chance on this movie.
Yeah,
even if
for
you're
real.
like, this movie sounds terrible, there's no way I'll like it. If you can listen to this podcast, you can watch that movie.
Paul Rogers, the editor.
Yes.
Just wanted to,
Good luck.
Yeah.
G-looks.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Josh said most of the things there are to say about it, but I didn't think it was going to make me feel the way it did.
Yeah.
For sure. Jobu Tupaki is an amazing fucking character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the performance is greater than the character. I think without the performance, the character could have
been very
flopped.
silly.
Yeah.
Very silly.
Yeah. But she fucking Stephanie Shu.
Droll.
That was great.
And menacing at the same time. It's just wow. Just wow.
Yeah. And I think for the last 20 to 30 minutes of that movie, I was just a wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, my shirt was drenched.
Yeah.
My face was sticky. Like, I just fucking
grabs you by the feels. Just will not let go. Vice-like grip on the feels for the last 30 minutes of this movie.
So that's ranking our movies, huh?
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that there was less variation in our list. I expected a little more variation in our list.
Yeah.
I'd say outside of Judas, which you had, I'd say significantly higher than I did.
Yeah, I had 3.
And you had, and your number 6 was
28 Days Later.
So it's basically kind of like almost.
Yeah.
So your 3-4 was my 5-6 and vice versa. Yeah. So
yeah. 3-6 conundrum.
3-6 conundrum, man. Like, it's just really, that's a hard part of this list to rank, and it is what it is. Be mad, don't be mad. Let us know in the comments. Send us emails. Hit us up on Twitter.
All of it.
All the things. I think I'm about ready for some bourbon. So we should take a break for bourbon. I believe that's a segment we like to call the bourbon break on the show.
Yeah.
You down?
Yeah, that's clever word gymnastics you did there. Let's do it.
I'm a writer. What can I say?
I did not just touch my headphones.
No, you did not. I did not see you touch your headphones at all. But we'll be back right after this bourbon break.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Must Have Missed It. So we're going to do a different thing with award season. We're going to choose award winners from the entirety of the season. I set some parameters initially that we could only choose one winner from each movie. So you couldn't have the same favorite character as a best fit. They couldn't be from the same movie. And then we started actually doing the exercise, and that proved almost impossible.
Yeah.
So we made a compromise where we could each choose one movie twice. So everything else is an individual pick, and then one movie we can choose twice.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off with favorite character. James, who's your favorite character from season 1 of Must Have Missed It?
My favorite character is William O'Neill.
Nice.
This was one of the reasons I needed the 2-movie rule, man.
Yeah.
I could have put him in performance or character, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I decided because of what I went with performance, he was going to be character. And kind of really because that's an impossible role to play.
Yeah. It's very tough.
I mean, he's playing a role within a role within a role.
Yeah. Very layered.
His facial expressions in this movie are just amazing. You talked about you really have to watch his eyes.
His eyes specifically.
In this movie.
It's a masterclass in acting.
Yeah.
If you watch his eyes in this movie.
The scene in the car when he's getting ready to be found out by is it Trudy or Judy?
Yeah.
Trudy.
Judy.
Judy.
Okay.
Yeah. He's getting ready to be found out by Judy, and they're pressing him. I mean, that scene is fucking nuts. The scene where he's getting ready to give the drink to Fred is...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, I really wanted to put him in performance for those reasons. But I had to do some moving around here, so he ended up as my favorite character, and just because... It's so complex.
Yeah.
Fuck. To be in that position, like, fuck. Your hands are tied. But, in the end, he's really just chooses self-preservation. And that's just a devastating arc to watch. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, for favorite character, I have to make a decision in the moment. And I guess because of the fact that I find certain aspects of his character so interesting, I'm going to go with Waymond from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
There are compromises being made in these lists because of the parameters that were set. That we could have had a list that was basically like 2 movies for our entire list, and that just wouldn't have been very interesting. So I wanted there to be a lot of diversity here, and us to really have to think about how we felt about each award and who we would choose for it. But I'm going to go with Waymond because, like I said during the Everything podcast, the way that this movie gives him no arc and makes him the most important character is just a phenomenal achievement. To take the viewer through the arc instead of putting the character through the arc is just very, very incredibly well done. The smashing of the Asian male stereotypes in movies, just a great character all around and a fantastic movie. So, James, what's your favorite performance from season 1?
So I went with Ana de Armas from Knives Out.
Good choice.
She has a lot going on in this role throughout the movie. She's trying not to be found out. I've never really seen her in anything, so I don't really have anything to judge it against. But the facial acting and just overall, I think her and the actor that plays Harlan Thrombey, I think kind of steal this movie. Well, and Benoit. Those 3, I think, just really kill it in this movie. But for me, it was her. Like I said, I could have put Lakeith Stanfield here and maybe tried to justify why Marta was my favorite character. But with the format we're going with, it felt more natural to put her in performance because really, I mean, they were almost interchangeable for me.
Yeah. That's funny. So I'll go ahead and reveal. I had to decide between 2 characters for favorite character in the moment, and the other one was Marta. Who's a character I find very aspirational, much like Waymond. Just a very kind. She does the right thing no matter what it costs her. And there aren't many people like that in the world. That we need more people like that in the world. It's natural that she would be a nurse. It makes sense that she would be a nurse because that just suits who she is as a person. And my favorite performance is Lakeith Stanfield, Judas and the Black Messiah. A lot of the reasons that James already said, the facial acting. There are a few specific scenes that I don't want to take a lot of time to point out because I've already talked a lot about this performance in the Judas podcast, so I won't here. But it's just an incredibly subtle performance. Like you said, it's like he's playing multiple roles throughout this movie. And it's just an incredible performance. And like I said earlier, one of my favorite of this century so far.
Yeah.
Who's your coolest hang for season 1?
So it's going to be Argyle from Die Hard.
Nice. I didn't think about it. Damn.
This one was hard for me, man. I was going through and looking at all of my coolest hangs, and I feel like, I'll have to go back and kind of review the season, but I feel like I didn't really give enough to this award throughout the season.
Yeah.
But Argyle is that dude, bro.
Yeah, ride or die, man.
He's there for whatever you need. We talked about it in Die Hard podcasts, but dude, I don't think it gets cooler than him. Like, the other thing is the movies that we did, I think coolest hang is tough for a good handful of them.
Yeah, definitely for some of these movies. Yeah, it's tough.
in a more lighthearted season, we'd have more options. But
yeah.
You
look at Judas and the Black Messiah. The guy that I picked for coolest hang in that movie goes on a murder spree later in the movie. So it's kind of tough on coolest hang on some of these movies. I went with Remus Lupin from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Lupin.
Just an easy choice for me. Again, having to follow the rules that we set forth. I needed to find a place to choose something for Harry Potter. And this just seemed like the best spot for it. Remus Lupin teaches Harry the Patronus charm, gives him information about his parents he didn't know, reunites him with his godfather. He's there for Harry. It seems like a guy that you'd really want to be down with. So I fucks with Remus Lupin.
Yeah, and you got the Lupert Boggin scene. And, it's great.
Rupert Boggin. Who's your toughest hang in season 1? I have a feeling this is coming from the same movie. Oh, no, maybe not, actually.
Selfridge.
Yeah, okay.
It could have been someone else. We'll save that. I think it might be yours. Selfridge, man. Fuck you. You're
sucks.
A dick.
Yeah.
I'm not even wasting any more time on this piece of shit. Who's yours?
Quaritch.
Really? It's not. Oh, it's not Hoover because you probably couldn't pick it.
Well, yeah, because I have another movie that I chose twice.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, he's gonna pick Hoover. Okay. Yeah, Quaritch.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck that dude. For all the same reasons I said in the Avatar podcast.
Yeah.
Fuck Quaritch.
Yep.
Moving on. What's your choice for best fit in season 1?
I really wanted to do a Jobu fit, but I can't. So I'm gonna go with Violet Supersuit.
Nice.
That cloaking feature, man.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
You still have to have the powers to make it go invisible.
Yeah.
You still basically have to be Violet.
It's also isn't it impenetrable to bullets?
Basically indestructible.
Yeah. I'll take it. Any of the Incredible suits are pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Word.
What'd you get?
I went with Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
Yeah.
Just fucking well-dressed dude, man. Yep. Very nice suit. Knows how to rock it. Appreciates style. I appreciate his appreciation of style. Pretty easy pick there.
Yeah.
I really also wanted to go with a Jobu fit, but I have everything everywhere somewhere else on my award list. So
I was also considering Ki Woo.
Yeah.
From the fantasy that he has in the end of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, that would
the men
fit.
look.
Yeah, that would have been a great fit. Shit.
Yeah. That was actually my best fit for Parasite. So I was thinking about coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have for hottest bars? Best quote from season 1.
I kind of surprised myself when I went back and looked at my list as a whole and was like, this is what I chose from this movie? Like, any one of these categories almost I could have done this movie. But I went with Waymond. When I choose to see the good side of things, I'm not being naive. It's a lot longer. But yeah, it's strategic and necessary. It's how I learned to survive through everything.
Yeah.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Like I aspire to think this every day and to just drill this into my brain.
Right.
So I couldn't come off of it. What'd you get?
Well, you highlight the reason that I made this rule. Because if I hadn't set restrictions on myself, I mean, I would have Waymond as my coolest hang. I would have Waymond as my favorite character. I would have that as my favorite quote. You know, I mean, like it would just be a list full of everything everywhere all at once. Stuff. You know, there'd probably be a couple of other. I mean, the best fit would be for sure
Jobu.
Yeah. One of the Jobu fits for So I was like, I show discipline. We just did this movie. Let's highlight, some stuff from earlier in the season too. So I went with less profound, I would say. What were the overheard words by the Nazi child masturbating in the bathroom? Because that is the funniest shit I heard in any movie. All through season 1. That is the funniest fucking line of dialogue in any of these movies. So I went with that. I had to choose that.
That shit was great. That's fantastic. Great choice.
What do you got for top bop?
So again, I was surprised that this was the one that this movie popped up in. Belt of Faith from Parasite. It's the one that plays when they're doing the peach fuzz. When they're sprinkling the peach fuzz on the housekeeper. Just like crazy violin riffs. A lot of shifts throughout the song. Goes from kind of anxious to kind of triumphant to kind of sad to kind of upbeat. Like it's all over the place. It's still on my playlist. I don't skip it when it comes on. I just I don't know, love that shit.
I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard not to go John Williams here for top bop. Either something from Azkaban or something from E.T.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say I almost went with Buckbeak's Flight.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Heavily considering it. Yeah,
absolutely. I was leaning that way, but I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants, James. And what the heart wants is a duet with a raccoon sitting on top of my head. That's what the heart wants. So I chose Now We're Cooking. From Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is just it's in my playlist now. I fucking love this song, man. It gives me so much joy. The Raccacoonie forever.
Plus you get to duet with like Randy Newman. Like
props for whoever bought Raccacoonie for $90,000. Like you're just the luckiest person.
He really wanted it, guys.
I really wanted it. I didn't even know it was going for auction. I found out after the fact. That's unfair. Someone had information I didn't get, and that's bullshit.
Insider trading.
Yeah, of movie props. Like I knew E.T. was going on auction. I knew that shit a month before it happened. Why didn't I know about Raccacoonie?
Right.
Garbage.
Terrible.
Right in the feels, the emotional moment of that you're going to highlight, I guess, from season 1, whatever this award means to you in this moment.
So I guess I took this one very literally. for this award. This is where I chose to use a movie twice. So this is going to come from Judas and the Black Messiah. And it's the Fred Hampton murder scene. I kept thinking, I was like, I really want to, for this award, I want to choose the thing that had the heaviest emotional impact.
Yeah.
That's just when I was looking at it, what I felt. That's what I was going to do for this award. And heaviest is that.
Yeah.
It's the one that like I wanted to break something. Like I wanted to break my screen. I wanted to yell or express frustration other than tears.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I mean, you see Dominique Fishback just standing there. And I think that's really what did it, is that she just had to stand there.
Yeah. Stone-faced.
Yeah. And take it.
Yeah.
And then that did it.
While our government murdered Fred Hampton, which is a thing that happened.
Yeah.
The government murdered Fred Hampton.
Yeah. So, yep. That was mine.
Yeah, I considered a scene from Judas. It wasn't that scene. It was the scene, are you a bad motherfucker or just a bad mother? That scene. Yeah, I thought about that scene for this. I also considered, the last 30 minutes of everything.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of different scenes I considered, but I thought this would be the best place to give E.T. some love. I forgot to do my favorite performance. My favorite performance is Dee Wallace. Again, it's not really a bit. I think, again, that performance is so fucking good. Someday James will see it for what it is. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going with the scene where E.T. dies. Not where he dies, but where Elliot says goodbye to him and apologizes, and then he's resurrected, because I forgot this was called Right in the Feels, and I was thinking it was called All the Feels when I was thinking about this, and I was like, man, you want to talk about all the feels?
Yeah.
Like, that scene gives you all the feels. Like, it brings you all the way down and then brings you all the fucking way back up. Like, it is hilarious at the end, and, poignant and very fucking sad at the beginning, and just honest and earnest, and it's so fucking good, and it really hits. With E.T., it's tough because also the E.T. goodbye when E.T.'s leaving at the end of the movie is so fucking good too. So it was hard for me to make the choice, but because you get the high of the resurrection in the first scene I mentioned, that's kind of the reason I chose that one.
Word.
This is an award that, we created just for this specific podcast. We've probably each said some stuff that the other of us was like, the fuck did he just say? Did he use words to say that? Like, is that something that came out of his mouth for real? So this is the Wildest Take Award, and we're each going to choose what we thought the other person's wildest take of season 1 was. James, what do you think my wildest take was in season 1? I feel like I gave you a lot of fodder.
Man, I wanted to really go outside the box here and not choose Mary Taylor, Dee Wallace. I'm starting to come around, I guess.
I mean, I think you could get me for the Mary Taylor take, that Mary Taylor is the best character in E.T.
Not necessarily the performance.
Dee Wallace, I don't. That's unimpeachable, man. Get off my corner.
I mean, the only thing I'll say in argument against their performance is, I think you can still do the movie without it. I think the performance, that's an argument against the character. Well, I've backed myself into a corner. Your wildest take is that your favorite character is Mary Taylor. Because, man, it is a good performance. It is. Yeah. It's like, I think your Kramer versus Kramer comment really did it. I was like, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Space Goonies, but
Space Goonies is a great fucking movie. I fucking love E.T. It's fantastic, and I think most of the acting in it is really good. I don't think there's really a lot of bad performances in that movie.
But I'm gonna kind of slash my wildest take, and I'm gonna say that on the other side of the slash, your wildest take was offering me Jobu Tupaki in a trade. Yeah.
My GM has gotten back to me and vetoed that trade proposal. Apparently, I didn't even realize I had a GM. But yeah, that came down from above somehow, and yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, but like, it doesn't get any more OP than Jobu Tupaki, man.
That's very true. Yeah,
she can just.
Such is my love for Akakuni, who will die instantly if put in the arena against Jobu Tupaki.
Like, I mean, even if, he'll
get turned into Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Not the rat, but the dish.
Yeah.
Somehow she'll make him into a dish made of like squash and zucchini.
So yeah, I think you don't have a whole lot of wild takes, but the trade for sure was kind of, I think, the thing that caught me the most off guard all season. I was like, oh shit. Not the fact that you proposed a trade, but I was like, he's going to give up Jobu? I was like, man, he's not seeing with his heels. Yeah.
He is not thinking with his head, he's thinking with his heart.
Yeah.
There goes Josh being Josh.
I think I know my wildest take is. So
yeah, I don't think that anybody's going to be surprised to hear that. What I think James's wildest take is we created an award where we imagine that there's a scenario where the world has been ravaged by a virus or a whatever, and zombies are the dominant life form on this planet, and so we choose characters from these movies that can help us survive in these scenarios. And James chose a fucking baby.
Surprise, motherfucker.
A fucking baby. Jack is a fucking baby. Like, he can't even walk. He is not quiet. Stealth is no longer an option for you. Somebody is basically constantly wearing a baby backpack. So, I mean, 5-10 years, like, the potential's there. Don't get me wrong.
Red shirt baby.
But you gotta keep that baby alive for 5 or 10 years, and that just seems like way too much effort. So yeah, wild fucking take, James. The baby. Wow, you took a baby.
It's the future.
But speaking of zombie apocalypse survival team, moving into season 2, we're going to do another similar kind of movie character draft kind of thing. We've decided to draft ourselves a basketball team.
Yep. And
I propose that why not carry one character over from season 1 into season 2? So, James, first summarize your zombie apocalypse survival team. Well, first, go ahead and lock in your choice. I have mine locked in.
Okay.
Already highlighted on my screen.
Yep.
Who it is that I'm carrying over, because I don't want to feel like I'm being reactionary because of who you picked.
So, just to be clear, that trade is
no.
Void.
That was a terrible. What the fuck was I thinking?
Okay.
That was a terrible idea.
Because I would have. I was gonna accept it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean,
that was a terrible fucking idea.
E.T. is my homeboy, but like I'm getting Jobu.
Yeah,
and then like Rakakuni.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Was trade bait anyway. So.
I got him and a red shirt baby, like
right, like got capital here.
I got the cutest 2 members of any zombie apocalypse survival team. What are you offering for that?
So yeah, I've got my choice locked in. Not going to change it.
Summarize your whole team and then tell me who you are carrying over into season 2.
So I have Professor Hagrid from Prisoner of Azkaban.
Jesus Christ, Mother Hedges Hagrid.
I have E.T., the extraterrestrial from E.T. I have Jim from 28 Days Later, Marta Cabrera from Knives Out, Neytiri from Avatar, Theo from Die Hard, Jack Jack. I have Kiwoo from Parasite. I have Chairman Fred Hampton, and I have Rakakuni. Who is your zombie team?
I have, from Prisoner of Azkaban, I have Buckbeak. From 28 Days Later, I have Selena. From E.T., I have Michael Taylor. From Knives Out, Benoit Blanc. From Avatar, I have Jake Sully. From Die Hard, I have Coral. I have Violet Parr from The Incredibles. Ki Jung from Parasite. Judy Harmon from Judas and the Black Messiah. And from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, the one, the only Jobu Tupaki.
You're just making up sounds. Oh, man, I really wish I could have had Juju Chewbacca. Like, the damage she could do on a basketball court, man.
I know, right?
Fuck. All right, so I have made my decision. Starting at center for James's later name to be named must have missed it basketball team. Fuck, we gotta come up with names.
Yeah.
Hagrid.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
Yeah,
I
mean,
kind of felt like you were gonna go with Hagrid.
Already got my post, man. I don't know what he's gonna be offensively. He's kind of a clumsy guy.
He can dunk standing.
Yeah. But I was gonna say he can Shaq attack the rim, and defensively I am not worried. Like, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my team is off to a pretty strong start.
Yeah. I am obviously, I mean, come on. You know.
Yeah.
Jobu. No, fuck that. Why? Uncoachable.
Oh.
Not a team player.
Oh.
Not the kind of player I want on my team.
Okay.
You want to know who's coachable? Who learns fast? Who dominates? Jake motherfucking Sully. Yeah. Also can dunk standing.
Oh, shit. Are we? Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, so
and can
you
jump real fucking high.
Yeah, you got Avatar body.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's full Avatar body now, man.
I could have taken Neytiri.
Yeah.
Hagrid's cool though. He's straight.
Yeah, I mean, you got size.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who's going to the hole on Hagrid? I mean,
right.
Jake maybe, but like outside of that,
yeah.
Are we? I worry about Hagrid getting gassed. I think that'd be a concern.
He might come off the bench. We'll
probably have a minutes restriction for the at least to start the season.
Yeah, we've got a lot of movies next season, so he might not be a starter.
Yeah.
As of now, he is. There's the only guy on the team. So, are we doing coaches? Just thought about.
I was wondering,
that.
Are we the coaches?
Right. Like, are we like the general managers?
We hadn't thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
We were just.
We don't even have.
We're just
names.
like, hey, let's not just do the exact same things in season 2.
Right.
So I was like, basketball team.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, so I guess we have to say goodbye to all of our other zombie team members.
Yep, it's been a pleasure knowing you, Buckbeak. You've been the best transportation anybody could ask for.
Yep.
Jobu, we made it. Somehow you didn't murder us all.
Rakakuni can drive people.
He can
Just
drive
to let
people.
you know, I learned that last week. Yeah. Fred Hampton got us out of some really tough situations just with his gift to gab. Yeah. Jack. He didn't make it.
He pooped himself twice during the Fred Hampton speech.
Yeah, Theo cleaned it up. We tried to stick Jack with Neytiri. She's a fucking stupid baby away from me. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm looking at my team now, and I'm like, this is a very volatile team.
Yeah.
Some people that I'm like, there's no way that some of these people get along.
Yeah.
Like Judy and Check's List. Almost everybody. Jobu and literally everybody.
Right.
She might fuck with Buckbeak. Literally everybody else is gone. Yep. We weren't going to do MVP, but I'm going to get real cheesy right here. This like we said earlier, this takes a lot of time. It's an investment, and you know, it's not hard, or it is very hard actually to find the time to commit to this podcast. So like, James, you're my MVP. You're the MVP of this podcast, bro. Because like to commit to this idea where like you don't even really have a say in what the movies are. Like I tell you what to watch. Like I am almost in a way like your boss in this endeavor. Sometimes is kind of what it feels like. Yeah, you know. Which obviously that's not really what it is, but that's how it feels because I'm like, this is what you do, you know. So like for you to just be on board and like, you know, dive in head first and help me make this thing that we've been talking about for a long time actually happen. Yeah. Get to a full fucking season of a podcast. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Well, I'm gonna no. I mean, thank you. That's fucking incredible. And like, I'm not a person that A, takes praise well, or B, expects it or does things for it.
Yeah. And you know that I'm not. So if you're even headed in that direction, please don't.
No. But like, I do want to point out that, you know, a majority of these movies, like the editing, the work, you know, when I watch the movie twice, I take my notes, I make my selections. I'm mostly done. Mm-hmm. You know, you're doing the breakdowns, you're doing that. So just that for me is why you're the MVP of the podcast, because no. Like, not just throwing it back because you did it, but like when I think about this, like I always have the feeling of like, man, I could do more. Like I could be more helpful. So, I mean, it goes both ways, bro. Like I couldn't do this without you. You couldn't do it without me. I don't want to pick the fucking movies. Like that's a lot. So like keep doing that.
I mean, that's not to say we don't kind of discuss ideas. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? Because I mean, a lot of times I'll be like, you haven't seen this movie, have you?
I mean, we've already got on a list somewhere close to 100.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies on the list.
Definitely talked about them, but yeah.
Because full disclosure, I wanted to actually cheat in season 1. I wanted to do a movie that I already made James watch.
Oh yeah,
do Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
And then we decided after we decided not to cheat and pretend like he hadn't seen that movie yet. We were going to do it as a bonus episode, but we just, we ran out of time. So in order for us to make sure that season 2 stays on schedule and it releases when we intend to, we have certain movie release dates that that we have scheduled podcast releases around. So we're trying to make sure that we can hit those release dates. So we just didn't have time to do that episode, unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe sometime during season 2 or after season 2, we can record that, because that's one I'm really looking forward to. That's just one of the most fun movies. It might be my favorite comedy of all time. That is another one of those movies that whenever whoever's house, put that shit in, let's go. I fucking love Hot Fuzz. So good.
That's a really good one.
But yeah, we were like, that's cheating. I don't want to be disingenuous. So we'll just stick to watching the thousands of movies you actually haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Seems like we have plenty.
Oh man. And I think so season 2, We might actually do one where the roles are a bit reversed.
That's a rumor that I'm hearing. Is that there may actually be a movie that James has seen that I have not seen that is on my list.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, for sure. So you can look forward to that in season 2. Got some pretty big movies coming in season 2.
Oh, yeah.
A few iconic ones. We're going to dip into the Marvel well for the first time in season 2. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Going to be nice to take a couple weeks off, kind of recharge the batteries, try to spend more time engaging with people on socials.
Yeah.
Maybe finally get some of these TikToks edited and uploaded, and just try to be a little more active in some areas while we take time away from the podcast to gear up for season 2 and make sure we can be ready to deliver these awesome content.
Yeah, man.
You love the content.
We give this shit away for free. Imagine. It's so good.
Yeah. You don't pay anything for it. We don't even make you listen to ads.
Right? There are never any ads.
Unfortunately.
No ads. By the way, have you heard?
What's delicious,
no
though?
Fucking ads.
Speaking of no ads, what's delicious? Just kidding. That commercial may premiere in season 2. We'll see. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, while we're away, don't forget to reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to talk to you in the meantime. Send your emails to musthavemissed@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at musthavemissed. Follow us on Instagram at musthavemissed. Follow us on TikTok at musthavemissed. And join the Discord. We appreciate everybody for following us in season 1. Can't wait to come back for season 2. In the meantime, please be kind.
Especially when you don't know what's going on.
Which for us is all the time.